There is an SEC quarterback that stock is rising mightily in the NFL draft. Is that Hendon Hooker or someone else? Because there's three that would be in play. I don't know how Bryce Young's stock could get any higher. Okay, so it's Will Levis. What do you think about him and the Vegas odds going from about a 50-1 first pick to a 10-1 first pick in the 48 hours or so recently as we head into the NFL draft? Sell me on Will Levis if you can. I don't think you can, Caleb Calhoun.
This serves as proof that I'm smarter than most NFL GMs, and you are too. Like, I talk all the time about coaches not being very bright for the most part, but geez, who could have watched Will Levis play last year and think that guy's a number one pick?
No, I don't get it. You can factor in the injuries. You can factor in the fact that Kentucky couldn't protect him, a lot of different things. But the simple fact is, I think he's limited. Now, I think he's got a bazooka arm. I also think he's got some cockiness issues. But the simple fact is that Vegas is going to cover their backside. You know this better than me. So the fact that they've got Will Levis going from about a 50-1 to a 10-1 to be the first overall pick is news. He's not going to be the number one pick unless there's something wrong with Bryce Young that we're not aware of. But they're covering their back ends, right, Caleb, to make sure nothing crazy happens on draft night and they get caught unawares. And whether we like it or not, Vegas tends to know more than us. So that tells you something right there.
Yeah, and I got a question for you, Dave, because you've covered I don't know if you've covered NFL scouts in the NFL draft, but I know you covered recruiting and you covered college coaches scouting and evaluating talent. Is there a level of, you and I both agree, the game film matters more than anything else when you translate to the NFL. What you see on tape, it's not exactly a translator, but it's probably the best indicator of all the indicators of what they'll do at the next level. What makes scouts and coaches throw that to the side? And here's where I'm going with that. Are they that arrogant to think that if a player just has potential, they're good enough to minimize the flaws in their game? Is that what these GMs and scouts think?
Yes.
That's simple enough.
You just answer your own question. Every NFL coach has gotten to that point and is so cocky and confident that they believe they could take a lump of clay and turn it into a Michelangelo. That's what they believe.
And so they will,
no question.
So they will throw out guys that have proven what they can do on the field who won't be nearly the headache for this raw potential because of some genius they think they have, which they don't have.
Yes. It's as simple as that. I mean, it really is. I mean, and in some cases, they're right. You want to take Jalen Hurts, for instance. I didn't think he was a top flight quarterback, and here he is signing a $500 gajillion deal. So in some cases, they're right.
But Jalen Hurts had incredible intangibles, even if he had limitations.
I agree, but how about Lamar Jackson? Okay, incredible upside, but still hadn't played in that sort of offense in the NFL successfully. Nobody had, and what they did with the Ravens for them. So for him, and but you're absolutely right. They are every bit as confident and cocky, whatever the word you want to use, as we can take a lump of clay and turn him into an all-pro.
Rather than take a guy who would already be an all-pro. I mean,
or at the very least, a very solid 8, 10, 12-year starter. I think there's the idea that you can kind of make your name with those guys that you turn around. I'll take a couple that I didn't like really coming out of college, and we mentioned them, but I'll give you another one, Justin Fields. I mean, whoever made the case to draft Justin Fields in the NFL is going to reap those benefits as long as he's good, because that changes what's that?
I said he's not good though. So
I know. But right now, isn't the perception that he's good?
The perception is that he can be good.
Right.
But I've never been sold on him.
I'm not either. So we're on the same page, but that's enough as a personnel director to get you probably a big raise and have you sitting pretty in that office in the corner of the facility for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, if not more. As long as Justin Fields rocks on, and then you probably get a chance to draft his backup or who replaces him. No, I'm with you, but I think it's the risk reward. The reward is I draft a guy that changes the face of the program. It doesn't have to be a quarterback. Look at J.J. Watt. He didn't change the face of the program for the Texans, but he was a dominant player. There are guys that we could go on and on and on about that have been dominant players, but that's the guy we're talking about is obviously Will Levis. So I don't understand the love affair with Will Levis. I've said that. I understand the love affair with C.J. Stroud a lot more, but I don't understand the love affair with Will Levis. And not to get too off topic, because we've got Brandon Marcello, who has chosen Tennessee as one of the top 10 programs in the country, and I want to get to that. But if you want to talk about intangibles, I mean, which intangible is more important, Caleb? Is it Hendon Hooker overcoming a transfer, overcoming not getting the starting job, fighting back, being the guy that ultimately is the snap and clear, I believe in this team, and that's exactly what he was, and he led this team? Or is the better intangible is that Will Levis can throw the ball through a brick yard? That's actually a tangible. But the intangible would be played with injury. What's the greater intangible? To me, it's not close.
It's Hendon Hooker's by a long shot. By a long shot has the better intangibles. The smart intangible for when it comes to injury for quarterbacks is to try not to get injured. I mean, like I remember back in the day how quarterbacks were called soft if they slid. And I'm like, no, they're doing this for the team. I get mad at a quarterback if he doesn't slide and if he doesn't get out of bounds. I'm like, don't get hurt. And so, yeah.
I can't tell you how wrong I hope I am on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. I think that Hendon Hooker is being used as the smokescreen. I think Hendon Hooker is being thrown up there. I mean, you got to remember, we're having a conversation 3 months ago that Hendon Hooker is at best a third-round pick, right? And then we're having the conversation. He's a second-round pick, and I think it was Mike Detillier, the longtime draft analyst with Jimmy Himes, that said he could be in the first round. So what is pushing him into the first round and beyond? He's not able to work out. He has the ACL injury. I know he's a great interview. I get all of that, but I'm afraid, and I hope I'm wrong, that Hendon Hooker is going to be the one that slips in the draft process into the third round or beyond. It's just little things I'm hearing. I want to be wrong because I think he's such a good young man. We haven't even mentioned Anthony Richardson. The guy's played all of about 18 snaps, I think. And I think he'll go ahead of Hooker. But I get the feeling he's being used as the smokescreen. I hope I'm wrong.
He's the Geno Smith of this year's draft. They did that to Geno Smith, I remember, 10 years ago. And right. Hooker's got way better intangibles than Geno Smith. Let's be clear on that. I would much rather have Hendon Hooker leading my locker room than Geno Smith. Although Geno Smith seems to have matured. I'll be fair to him on that. But yeah, it's funny you bring up Anthony Richardson. Let's be honest. Look, Anthony Richardson has major issues, and I've been critical of that from the start. But in terms of character and intangibles, don't you have more faith in Anthony Richardson than Will Levis?
Not even close. Yeah, and again, here's how the smokescreen can work. People can say, we really like Hooker, so that helps their leverage and what another pick is worth. So you float out there, you really like Hooker, you need a quarterback around pick 20 or so. You're trying to get somebody to draft up. That's the games that are being played. So the closer you get to the draft, really the less you know about what teams really want, because it is 90% smokescreen. Again, I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that Hendon Hooker is being used in a pawn in this.